LGE was dominating teams was in a more tank-heavy meta. That's where they really made themselves known way back when. So this is good as Jake finds the Fran immediately, just insta-bopped, and that's certainly going to be slowing down the offense here for Selfless.
Yeah, it might not slow down the defense. The super looked like he wanted to go in a little bit, but the invisible fence of the barrier will keep him out there. They will start aggressing, rotating around, knowing that they will be able to get DeFran back here momentarily. And DeFran kind of is poking around. It's going to be interesting to see if he tries to rotate up to high ground. For now, just hanging out with his team on the low ground.
That's going to be a D-Mech train in a hurry, so it's a better engage coming in here from Selfless. Jake looking around to reposition, but you take a look at this from LG Evil. They're getting pushed back, and usually LG Evil, they're the team that likes pushing in, but even Selfless is able to catch them off guard here with this level of aggression. Still, both teams still have all 6 up, even with the D-Mech Diva, and there's the early Graviton. Sinatra has built it up early, and it's going to result in 2 quick kills. Again, his Zarya play shining here, quite literally, as he is charged up.
Well, Train going down and getting D-Mech early really hurt them because that allowed DeFran to do so much chip damage. Rob was at half health, had to wait and pull back, as was Super. They had to get the boosted healing out of Avast, and that put them in the corner until it was way too late. The kills came in fast and furious from Selfless and grabbed first point easily. Sinatra at 30% and grab again. It has been insane to watch.
There's no doubt about it, but the defense will get a chance to reestablish here if they can avoid Kresnik's Hammer of Love. They will have a Graviton up for themselves in just a moment, and this is going to be a key fight here. Where Selfless is able to take this, they're going to gain a lot on time, so LG Evil needing to strike back here. And this fight right now, a lot of skirmishing taking place right underneath the archway. Kresnik walking forward, but he's going to get sucked in by the Graviton. Counters with the Earth Shatter. And it's going to be a bit of a wash here between both teams, but LG Evil burning more ultimates and not getting as much. And Sinatra has a Graviton up again, but throws it away into the Diva Ma, going to get nothing out of it. And LG Evil still at the shot of turning this right back around. And Slasher can't even handle it, leaves the game.
I get it. I get why he would leave the game after that. Super's going to come in and take down Sinatra. Sinatra had the grab to be able to just swing that back. As you mentioned, it was a bit of a stalemate from all of those ultimates coming down. LG Evil turning on the aggression now as Train's able to take down Kresnik, but Train has done everything he needs. Wow, a couple late kills from Bull really helps him get his charge up. So, nice play there. LG Evil taking the page out of the Selfless playbook, spawn camping on Kings.
They're treating Selfless like their Complexity right now. This is what we're seeing at the moment.
Complexity.
Well, Complexity, they're getting spawn camped in the sky right now. That's all I gotta say there. But the Graviton is in its super nano boost. This is the party room that LG Evil likes treating themselves to. And Selfless not able to get out of the spawn.
They used a lot there, though. I mean, it was fun,
Yes.
It was great to watch. Actually, you know what? Looking back on it, it was just grab and boost. And that boost got super up to an Earth Shatter, so not that bad of an engagement there. The Slashers decided to rejoin us.
Slasher has recovered himself. He is
Well, he saw a good
now
Graviton.
back into it.
He lives and dies by the Graviton.
It's the only explanation, really. In any case, the offense coming back up once more. Super Earth Shatter on the way, smashes Kresnik against the wall, and this is the aggression that LG Evil prides them on, getting back in with good tank engagements, and they catch Selfless off guard, where again, this is much more LG Evil style of game than Selfless if you look at these two teams historically.
Both of these teams are ultra aggressive historically, and they will spawn camp. But they play different comps to run their aggression.
Yes.
When Selfless runs their aggression, a lot of it was the DPS, the Tracer, Sinatra, you know, catch me at spawn with my boy Sinatra spawn camping. But LG Evil has always done this. They just do it with tanks instead, and Super just runs wild. I always mention him as Fraggy, although we haven't seen, you know, NIP in a bit, but they remind me of them. The ultra aggressive tank play is so fun to watch.
Well, they certainly have ultimates to keep Selfless back here. This has been an iron wall defense from LG Evil, and Selfless, someone at a loss for how to engage. Here comes LG Evil, Graviton supported by the sound barrier, and the Graviton is a whirlwind of death. LG Evil, a clean 6 kills, and Selfless We don't usually see Selfless get abused to the degree that it's going on right now.
What I like about LG Evil's aggression, compared to how Selfless played, at least yesterday, is that it's measured aggression. They're not throwing a bunch of ults at this, they're using exactly what they need. One grab, now they're going to have Earth Shatter up as well. Jake's got to be a little bit careful. He's got to run from this hook. It's going to be important for him to put his New Balance sneakers on. Hooked and gone. Unable to get out from Iman.
Could be the light at the end of the tunnel here for Selfless, as finally they're able to get some momentum. Sinatra piles on, and the sound barrier is going to enable them to deep dive right in. So finally, a bit of a break in the storm here for Selfless. They will be throwing back LG Evil and getting something going here on second.
They had to burn a lot of ults, but that was always Selfless's motto too, is when you're spawn camping, make the other team burn ults just to get out of spawn. That's exactly what they had to do. They will have Defran's tactical visor, but now we see a few switches up. Jake going to the Genji of all things, perhaps to help deal with Defran, but all the tank ultimates for Luminosity Gaming Evil about to come online.
So this is where Selfless, we'll see what they can do here. They have to avoid the tank ultimates and have Defran get a good tactic visor, but he's under assault in the back, but no! Treats Jake to the business end of his rifle, gets the quick kill, and gets one off the tac visor, and that's going to be enough. Selfless with a commanding advantage in this fight, and though Vol is charged up and has a grab, he would be foolish to drop it. Thus, he does not.
Yeah, all the engagements were completely shut down by the Selfless offense there. A late charge got slept, and Super got taken care of unceremoniously, and they're still holding on to those tank ultimates. That's how quickly those tanks ended up dying. A nice pulse bomb late from Sinatra is going to keep a lot of this healing shut down and keeps them in the corner.
And this is more the Selfless we have come to expect, where they change up comps a little bit, go with more of an aggressive dive, and now they've found their groove in pushing back LG Evil. That said, Vol holding on to the Graviton here, Super with the backup and an Earth Shatter, only going to grab Kresnik off of this, and Kresnik, he does get charged to his death, and perhaps it will still be enough.
The trainer's able to get the self-destruct over the top there, and now they clean up Iman too, so it's just supports left here, and Defran running from his life, and as quick as you can be with those dad shoes, not quick enough to evade a Cyber Ninja.
So we're going to see LG Evil reestablishing here, and we are down to the final minute. Because of all the time LG Evil bought on second, this is what Selfless has to work with here, and it's not a whole lot. Kresnik is almost forced to get the better of Super here as one of their main engagement options to make this work, which is easier said than done. And here we go. The Dragon Blade into the back. Jake makes it a Nano Blade, diving in, finds Michael 3D, looking for more. Has to put it away towards the end. It's 4 versus 4 on this fight as Kresnik drops the hammer, and it connects. It knocks down 2, and the follow-through is there.
That's beautiful follow-up, but it almost did not happen as Super was in decent position. He kept himself up through that Earth Shatter, but it still did reach the higher grounds there. Earth Shatter does still go up a couple meters there, knocked a few down. Fire Strike came through. They will have a chance to come back out here, and Super has been holding onto the Shatter maybe a little too long.
It's very possible. It's been a while since he's dropped the hammer, but with the sound barrier, we see LG Evil moving in, but they're pushed back by the whole hog. The sound barrier doesn't amount to anything. Sinatra, Graviton, locked, ready, and loaded. Drops the Graviton, and it connects. Pulls in 3, and the follow-through is there, but the Ana Grenade keeps everyone alive as Super drops the hammer and knocks down 2. It's very close, but the self-destruct finishes what Super started, and LG Evil has themselves a hold right before last.
Solid win condition for them. I was thoroughly entertained by that. What did you think about that flame?
Switching sides.
Took a little long to get started. I mean, that chokehold was pretty well executed from LG Evil. I mean, just stopping them from finishing the map is a huge accomplishment, I would say. So they can't be too upset about how that went. I think Super got the better end of the Reinhardt trades. I think the hero swapping from Defran and Vol, like countering each other, was pretty good. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think you would have expected better from Selfless.
So, Rod, you're a student of history here, and let me just ask you this, given that Selfless has historically made their bread and butter on 2-2-2, and LG Evil has made their bread and butter on 3 tank and 4 tank setups, do you think that Selfless would be well advised to stick more towards a 2-2-2 instead of fighting LG Evil on what has been their comfort zone?
King's Row is a really good Zarya map. King's Row has always been a really good Zarya map. I don't think King's Row is ever not going to be a good Zarya map, no matter what they do to Zarya. So them running triple tank here, it still seems like a pretty solid approach. And And I think Jake made actually a good decision to go Genji as soon as Selfless went 2-2-2 trying to get through to the last push. He actually he got a lot of work done until Sinatra went back to Zarya and then ended up playing triple tank. And also, I will say, Selfless getting camped in spawn must feel really good for LG Evil. Selfless, beat their own horn for about a month doing it on Dorado and here on Kings Road to other team. Now they gotta hold that shit.
They did it in every map. They did it on Hollywood as well. Like, they would spawn... It didn't really matter the map. They would spawn camp anywhere and everywhere.
Well, take a look at the offense coming out here from the side of LG Evil. It is going to be relatively divey. Super and Vol, the front line. Train going to be in the back, and Jake will be the muscle right behind. And meanwhile, you take a look at the Selfless defense. It will be triple tank here once more, and you gotta think Defran is going to be pivotal in being the muscle and holding things back.
Well, late change turns this into triple DPS as Vol moves over to the Genji as well. They do get Jake and Train up over top trying to do all this chip damage and still have yet to find a kill. That's the kill for Emong though as Super goes down. That's the only tank they have in this composition.
With that early pickoff, Selfless is just able to snowball it back in their favor, and they throw LG Evil right back. I'm not entirely sold on LG Evil running what they're running here. I mean, we've seen hit or miss games from Vol on DPS, and for now, they're committed to it, but look at this. Jake is in hot pursuit right now by Defran. Defran moving forward, and Jake going, maybe this is a bad idea, but he's able to work his way around, get back to his team, and it's actually caused some positioning changes here from the side of the defense as Emon gets picked off pretty nicely. He was razzle-dazzled there from all sides, and this is a ridiculous take that they got two pickoffs in the back. What in the world?
Few yakety sacks and play that back for me. There will be a tactical visor over the top from Defran as he struggles to find targets. They will give him targets though as Super jumps up just to pressure him out a little bit. Still not yet a tick on the cart. Doc does go down and it is mostly just Defran on this point trying to get some damage, and it does look like LG Evil will capture first point. Well, never mind. Emong's coming back.
Selfless is going to make one more attempt to come back here, but Emong, just as soon as he comes back, is immediately taken down. And LG Evil's in great position, but Sinatra, not to be deterred, throws the Graviton in anyways. Doesn't really seem like it was a good idea, though.
Well,
so, I gotta say, Hex, that was one of the most unconventional takes I've seen, where LG Evil ran around so much in the backline that it threw Selfless off guard, and Emong paid the price.
You don't want to let Jake get high ground, I understand that, but they sent a lot of people after him, and I guess, you know, even worse than letting you get high ground is having sent one person up there who dies to Jake on the high ground, so I understand the notion that they had to get up there, but Jake was smart to just bail on it and just reposition with his team, and then it put Defran in an odd position where he just wasn't going to have the angles on teams that he would have liked.
Well, LG Evil looking to go through with momentum. Defran gonna open up here with the attack visor. Super under assault, but has the primal, and he's gonna create a huge distraction in the back, including sending Defran to the heavens. Soundbearer, though, out from Selfless. They're doubling down on winning this team fight. Kresnik moving in Earthshatter at his command, looking for the time to drop it. Rob 420 out of the fight as Selfless starting to mechanically pull this through.
Jake is just being annoying. I think he's not even trying to hit shots. He's just running behind them so they have to turn around, but they decide that is enough of Jake being behind us. They just slam it on the cart, win this fight. Selfless not even going to really look for a chase as most of LG Evil has retreated.
Worth noting here, too, that Defran already almost has another attack visor up. He'll get it in the middle of the next fight if he's not taken down immediately. But if there's a silver lining, there's a play to take him down immediately, which involves Vol, a Dragon Blade, and a Transcendence. So I'd expect LG Evil to be pretty aggressive and take this fight immediately back. And this is about as clumped up as Selfless is going to get. This is a good opportunity for LG Evil, and they take it. They dive in with the Transcendence. Vol, Dragon Blade being unleashed, and gets to work. Dodges the Sleep Dart, and it's 2 clean kills from Vol right after. Emong, though, still a threat, still alive, and Sinatra has another Graviton, and he fires.
Well, both supports were down, so any damage taken by LGE is going to be permanent unless they can find some packs. It is Doc all alone, so it's 3 still alive for LG Evil as they put a little pressure on the cart. As Train has come alive on his Tracer, now it is just Sinatra, not long for this world. It was interesting there, Kresnik hit a really nice charge and got the Zenyatta out of there, and both supports were murdered. Super a second late to drop the shield. as he is murdered by Helix Rocket and just is curious what happened.
Super can't believe it. There's the pulse bomb and then the sound barrier, saving the Reinhardt in that situation, empowering Defran to move forward with this tac visor. He's gonna pick up 2, and though there wasn't a whole lot of lead time there, Selfless is able to push back LG Evil once more.
They will both get pushed back. 2 minutes left, and when the cart is in this position on King's Row, that means we are down to 2 pushes at most, at best. They should be able to initiate with a sound barrier, and knowing the sound barrier timings as they do, that should give them a rather large advantage in the next fight, as long as they don't lose anyone on the way in. I was actually pretty impressed with Vol's first Dragon Blade. We'll see if his vanilla Genji can get it back up to where it needs to be.
Well, time is quickly running out here for LG Evil. They have 2 fights at the most for second. This needs to be successful, and here comes Super. Pops the Primal Rage early, again just disrupting, sends Emong on a ride towards the back, and this is really good disruption, but the Earth Shatter connects. Kresnik dropping 3, Defran and Emong right there. And despite the disruption that Super was causing, the flanking DPS of LG Evil can't push that through, and instead, it's Defran with the cleanup, and a big momentum shift in favor of Selfless as only a minute remains.
I could be wrong, and maybe the analyst will correct me here, but sometimes Jake just flanks way too much. He flanked over there, and it gives away Train's position. Train can't flank and be as effective as he wants on the backside, and then Jake doesn't even get any of the sound barrier over there either. So when you're going against all these tanks, I don't know that a flanking Soldier 76 is really the best option to try to get kills.
I'm not sure at all, but LG Evil, who had a good defense, now on the verge of getting knocked out here on King's Row, but the Pulse Bomb connects, Kresnik is out, and Vol is in. Immediately taken out, though, by a nano-visoring Defran as he moves back in to turn the tide. Sinatra there as well. 4 kills from Selfless. They knock LG Evil right back. And now LG Evil Hex only has a last-moment stall option and a hope for a miracle, but it's going to be a slim chance indeed to pull this back now.
Hey, the Transcendence and the healing has been fine, but you know what's better than Transcendence is an anti-heal, and Michael's been hitting them on the targets that he needs to. Everyone's getting not healed up by Transcendence, incapable of doing so, and it's do or die time. Maybe Jake can get a flanking visor. That's what he's trying to set up right now.
Well, Emong is playing bouncer here to this alley. Yeah. He knows Jake is coming in, but Jake doesn't have much choice. No. He even himself can't even choose which angle he wants to go in. He pops attack visor early, but has no targets. This is questionable. Yeah. The sound barrier comes in, and no, it's not just questionable. It was bad. It was a bad tactical visor. Selfless just ropes the dope pit back, and they take down everyone else that's getting in on the payload. So they're gonna hold off LG Evil right here, right now. They bring back King's Row, and they take the first map in this best-of-3 series. Fight, and then he would bring it right back with 2 to 3 kills on D.Va. He's remarkably consistent and somehow not even that flashy while getting work done. He's like the Tim Duncan of Overwatch right now.
Well, their Anubis offense will be remembered for Electric Cowboy, but the only reason it worked is because Train's D.Va. So right now it's going to be interesting to see. This is also a stage where Jake does put himself in odd positions, especially as Soldier 76 does like going for enormous flanks again. I think he needs to rein that in. They need the consistent damage with the team.
And for now, Selfless prioritizing positioning here. Everyone on the point, going in it together, and as everyone dives to the back, LG Evil flanking them on all sides, and this feels somewhat questionable by Selfless. We have seen internal fights like this work out well, but LG Evil has a lot of ways of maneuvering against them here, so this is going to be interesting, especially as Pulse Bomb comes onto the scene. Here comes Train, drops it in, and does not get anything from it. Emon going to fire right back, so Selfless bloodied here, not out of it just yet, but Super finally getting his toll, and I mean, how could you not with how clumped up Selfless is in this corner?
It was very odd positioning, and they kept having to step back into that room, so they even gave up first capture all over the point, and then it was just nice from LG Evil to pick out the targets that weren't in the rooms. Like, oh, there's one over here, and then they'd send 3 over to get it, and they got all those kills. They're going to have the ultimate advantage because of it, and it's going to be up to Selfless to find a way back into this.
Well, Selfless coming back out. This particular stage in Sanctum can be difficult to retake, and you look at the reason why, where LG Evil is rope-a-doping Selfless a bit right now, not giving them a clean engage, and waiting till the last moment to go in. Defran, gonna try and break it open with the nano visor, aided by the sound barrier. Doesn't have as many targets available to him as he would like, and in fact comes up with 0 kills. Meanwhile, the Dragon Blade is out from Vol, slicing through, looking for targets, also not gonna get much from it. So the ult's more of a distraction than a threat. But Train, Pulse Bomb connects, and now we'll finish off Emong, the 8 of all. It works out for LG Evil in the end.
A really nice play from Super there early on to be able to launch Kresnik off the edge. I'm not sure why Super decided to dip himself right into the pit. Yeah, okay, he just says he slipped. He just walked right into the pit. It was very odd, perhaps on search for that Mondada's gold you keep telling people about.
Oh, it's there, Hex. It will be found someday. I'm not sure how many people have to fall into the pit to find it, but it's there. Either way, LG Evil in firm control right now, one fight away from taking this first round, so taking it to Selfless here early on. Selfless not with a lot of tools to bring this back, gonna have to fight through a sound barrier as they throw their bodies onto the point. Overtime will be with us here in a moment as Jake finds Kresnik early on, and again, Selfless find themselves stuck in that corner more often than they really should be.
It's a great speech about fighting in basements and how it's not ideal. That's the closest thing Overwatch has to a basement. I'm not sure you want to willingly put yourself there.
Triple DPS coming out in style. Vol being that X factor, making it work.
I don't know. I think so. Like, what I think happened is because YIKES slammed them so hard on that map, they tried to change their strategy to like hold that room with their tanks, and that was what they did against YIKES, and it kind of worked for them. So I think they came into this match expecting something similar. But they wound up not contesting the point, and then they like created this artificial funnel where there was just a Zenyatta and a 76 left clicking into the doorways. So I don't like their strategy there, but that said, I think that they can definitely make up for it on the next 2 stages.
Well, we do see Sinatra now on the Zarya, and this particular stage in Nepal can work out pretty well for that, especially there's just many good graviton spots here, so we'll see if this approach works out a little bit better here for Selfless. And again, you see Selfless prioritizing the objective more so than anything else. They're already on it well before the control point unlocks, and it is giving LG Evil the option of choosing how they want to engage this. LG Evil, they get to be the aggressors here for better or for worse, but if they don't go in soon, they will lose control of the point, so bit of a double-edged sword. Either way, the engagement is in progress here, and it's a lot of tank versus tank here without a whole lot of damage being done.
Yeah, all the damage is getting completely healed out of, so blooded is so far, but it will be first captured. The frame gets very low, does find his way back to full health here, and now it is LG Evil getting low, and the cleanup should be able to come through now that Rob's out of the picture.
Rob's gone, that's going to be a huge decrease in healing, and finally Selfless able to push it back, and this is a double win for Selfless because they clumped up and took the disadvantages of that in exchange for being able to get first control of the point, but then they end up winning the fight anyways, so they're already at a quick, cool 28% progress here, and Sinatra will have a Graviton up, of course, for this next fight. Why wouldn't Sinatra have a Graviton every fight?
This is a strategy that worked against YIKES earlier, just to kind of clump up, and, you know, a ceiling is always a good thing to have if you're tanks. Make sure that those angles of attack are lessened, and there's really only 2 ways into this, and you've got a Winston on one end and a D.Va on the other. It's going to be hard to crack. They do jump in on it.
There's a sound barrier by Selfless, and there's a Graviton, pulls into Vol, go and get melted right down with a Vost, and it's not really huge Gravitons that come out of Sinatra, but they're effective fight-winning Gravitons, and that's all that really matters. If you kill 2 people for free, that's basically going to be it.
Yeah, Graviton is one of those ultimates that if you grab 4 in it, it can be great. If you grab 2, it can be great. The thing, I mean, solo ulting, solo grabbing someone doesn't feel awesome, and also having it eaten doesn't feel awesome, but it's so impactful, and Sinatra charges it so quickly that you don't have to go for the giant 5-man ults. In fact, I think it would be detrimental if he tried to hold his Graviton based on how he plays with it.
Well, we see LG Evil approaching here once more, and Selfless again, taking refuge in this tiny control point area. Kresnik holding on to the self-destruct, wasn't even fishing for a big D.Va ult, just one hold on to a point. LG Evil doubling down. Sound barrier is out, and Transcendence will be out as well if necessary. They get Michael 3D off the initial engage, but it's still even. This should necessitate the Transcendence coming out here in a moment for LG Evil as Sinatra is piling on. There's the Transcendence, better late than never. But Sinatra doing so much to suppress LG Evil in this fight. My goodness, everyone falling victim to his microwave.
I guess your target here with triple DPS is to try to take down Michael, but he's so good in his self-defense and just sitting with the tanks, it's not necessarily going to happen, especially on a stage like this. I don't know, maybe I'm not seeing something. Slasher, what do you think?
Well, Selfless might run this type of strategy on that round, where they just all sit on or near point and force, especially dive bounds, to come into the point where you're going to get slapped down by D.Va and Winston and Zarya all at the same time. So I think they've shown, especially if they win the first fight, they're able to take point to begin with. It's really difficult to retake.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they did exactly what they tried to do on Sanctum. It's just that point's a lot better for it because there's 2 ways in. They're kind of wide, but they had Matrix and they had Winston Bubble to deal with it. So there wasn't a lot of attack angles for the Genji and the Tracer. So it just kind of created this natural funnel that just allowed them to sit there.
And also putting more pressure on Rob 420 for the first time. Rob 420 has to die first for Sinatra to get ult.
Well, we are heading into the Shrine part of Nepal, which is more of a blend between the 2 different stages here so far, perhaps a little bit more conducive to LG Evil's playstyle, where they don't have to just go into one direct area, where they do like close quarters, but not as much on control. In any case, both teams trading out, and we see Selfless prioritizing control over the point here once more, being the first to go on it, but this time LG Evil a little bit more aggressive on the contest. They find Defran early on, and Jake with a clear line of sight from the back.
Going to be difficult for them as they did lose a big source of their damage already. Vol's trying to get in here, but he's getting beamed down by the Winston. Super's doing a really nice job of area control, but the healing is so strong right now for the side of Selfless. They're even going to sound barrier to make sure they get first capture.
We've been talking about quick ultimates up for Sinatra, but what about that for Doc? To get the sound barrier that quickly in the first fight, that's fairly significant. You don't see that very often.
The healing was nuts from both Michael and Doc, actually. I think they might have even gotten a boost out there because there's no way Michael should be at 3% otherwise. I may have just missed it, but yeah, all the tanks were just taking chip and just getting fully healed, and now Sinatra's going to be at 80, Emong's going to be at 90, and we'll see how these tank ultimates come into play.
Defran right now creeping on the backside. All 3 blinks still in his possession. He can dive in and pulse by alone. And here we go. Big bang combination. Hello and good night. That's what happens when you can build Graviton up that fast that you have it for the second fight.
Please and thank you. Got everyone in that grab. The follow-up absolutely there, and no way to really negate that. Avaz has Sound Barrier now. Transcendence is up now. I don't think Transcendence is even going to end up working against these Gravitons. Michael's been so good on his nades, anti-healing, and healing that you might as well consider it a wasteful ult unless you're going to try to move in with it or something like that. But taking down Defran is nice for them to start the fight.
It's nice. They're going to Sound Barrier, and Vol, Dragon Blade in reserve to clean this up if he wants. And after Super goes down, he's going to bust it out. Looking for those kills, not with great targets early on, getting zoned back, not even able to fish Sinatra on his own, but Jake is there at the follow through on Tracer, attaches the Pulse Bomb, and that should be it for LG Evil in retaking this, but that was a lot of ultimates used to retake this, and they still have a long way to go to take this round here, Hex.
Yeah, there was just a really funny moment where Rob got knocked by an ult over to the edge, landed right next to an Ana, and just headshot Michael 3D. He just did not see the Zenyatta coming down from the skies, but it is Zenyatta's map, so he gets those lucky bounces like that. 83% as they try to re-engage. Pulse Bomb incoming. Both supports ults up will be here for Selfless, and as you mentioned, LG Evil used a lot that last fight.
And we see Selfless coming right back in. It's a gem of engage from Defran, gets a Tracer v Tracer win, follows up with the Pulse Bomb, and that is going to be a very fast retake. And suddenly, LG Evil on the hot seat here. One last fight left to try and bring this round back, and if they lose this round, they will be 1 round away from elimination here in the Overwatch Monthly Melee.
Well, there comes the preemptive boost from Michael. I think he put it on Defran, of all people, trying to get some work done with that Tracer. It's not a traditional boost target, but why not? Emong is able to take down Jake, so there will be no Tracer v Tracer battle. Already losing a lot of that firepower. Vol's going to use the Dragon Blade. And
Graviton goes in, and it connects on the back line. Gets one, pulls in one towards the end, and it's even here. But Defran, again, being a madman. 3 kills here so far, looking for more. The answer has not been had for Defran towards the end. And LG Evil down to their final life.
It's where we see what the RNG is for the third map, because they've looked good on 2 of them and confused on 1. So as long as they can dodge Sanctum, Selfless in a good spot.
I would kind of argue for Sanctum that it was more Selfless hurting themselves though than LG Evil playing it well. And unfortunately for LG Evil, RNG not in their favor here, as the upcoming round will be going to not Sanctum.
Not Sanctum. I think that's what this map's called. Yeah. What is it? Garden? Something like that? Village?
No, it's not Garden.
Yeah, it's Village.
It is Village.
I get him confused too.
In any case, this is now do or die, and is this the do or die option that LG Evil is going with? It appears to be the case where they are bringing out the emergency Sombra.
All right.
Break in case of emergency, I suppose.
I guess tanks, I guess it can be okay. They're going to be clumped up. You should have opportunities for good EMPs.
Oh, Jake can make the most of it here. Moving in with early harassment, backing off to his health pack, but this is a loss in combat power early on for LG Evil, where Selfless very content to just dogpile here onto this point, and Jake not having a whole lot of success in hacking people right now, Hex.
No, definitely did not go to the Russian boot camp over the weekend, and he's having a difficult time here. He's been starting it but not finishing it, not getting the damage, and he's only at 40% here too. It's looking pretty rough. First control goes over to Selfless.
This has been a rough Sombra outing here for Jake here so far. The harassment hasn't really been there. The hacking certainly hasn't been there, and honestly, Selfless isn't under a whole lot of pressure here from any angle.
No, they need to wait. Wow, dying there is also a little rough. Did he go off the edge on purpose? All right.
I think he was just resetting there, but that was not an impressive outing.
Yeah, I don't think you should need to reset. Can't you translocate out somewhere? You want to be alive so you can build a little more ults, but they need ults. That's period. End of story. Rob goes down to a pulse bomb, and Defran already stops this next push.
This has been the Defran show. He stops the push almost single-handedly with the early pulse bomb, and there hasn't been a good answer. And oh my god, is he gonna get Avast here? No, but that was still closer than I really think that should have been, and we are 50% away from Selfless moving forward, fighting CLG, and eliminating LG Evil, so do or die here for the Sombra play from LG Evil as Jake moving around, looking for a good EMP target, not able to get the hack off again, and he's gonna have to EMP here, but he's now desync for the rest of his team as Rob 420 gets picked off again. This has been somewhat miserable for LG Evil.
Well, they're playing around the EMP now, too. You see it early on, you mentioned they were dogpiling on the point, which is a great term, by the way, but now they're only keeping 1 or 2 people on the point. They're spread out knowing that the EMP is definitely incoming. It's been that long. We've barely seen a whole lot of ultimates this game. He can EMP, but he needs to get everyone, because everyone has their ult time.
Well, this is cash in the ult time, because this is the final attempt that LG Evil has to take this. The EMP connects, does result in Sinatra going down immediately, and still ult in reserve for LG Evil, but Defran finds Train! Don't tell Defran that this could be a lost fight, as he is still in here. Rob 420 about to fall, but no, Vol slashing through. 3 kills here from Vol at the very end. 99% here though for Selfless, Hex, and not really a great situation for LG Evil where they have to win this round, they have to win the next round, and they can't lose a fight here, period. Easier said than done when Sinatra's packing the Graviton.
Exactly. They lose this fight, they're out of the tournament. That is about as simple as it goes. Michael's got his, Sinatra has his. Sinatra would be the guy to watch in this situation, but I think they know he's got it because they're all pretty spread out right now.
Well, final fight perhaps underway here. Selfless looks to take this one. It's a good engage. They get in healthy, and they drop the grab. Pulls in 3, and is a fall through there? It is absolutely there. Defran able to cleave right through. No pulse bomb required. Drops one at the very end just because. Finishes off Rob 420, and that will be a take for Selfless, and an elimination of LG Evil. Selfless moving on to face CLG in the lower bracket final.